Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Matt.
Hey, what's up?
Connor's not here again. Now, Connor is back from vacation, that is true. He did come back. He'll be back on the show next week, but he arrived just about a day and a half ago, and he's not had time to read his 2 weeks of comics to actually catch up and be here for the show. So he will be back next week for all the big books. So we'll have all three of us again.
Yeah, we definitely didn't get rid of him and then dismember him. And now nobody knows where he's at.
Dismember? Come on, Matt. We melt our bodies here.
That's true. We definitely didn't do that.
We Breaking Badded them. So we talk about DC Comics. We talk about superheroes and all that shenanigans. Coming up on this week's show, we have Justice League Dark issue 4. We have Batman 57, Justice League 10, Green Lanterns 57, Nightwing 51, Aquaman 41, and Sideways number 9. That's what we doing.
Not to tip my hand, but last week I said, what a great week for comics. I don't feel that sentiment this week. So
wait, is there multiple books you don't like? Is it just the one so bad that
more that they're just kind of so?
Okay,
for the most part
all right.
This week.
Yeah, I can see that for a few of them.
There's a couple high points, but the other ones are,
Yeah. So that's the comics that are coming up on the week's show. We do have sales to talk about. In terms of news, there was no actual comic book news really this week. We talked about the solicits last week, although it was kind of haphazard and rushed. The one point that people brought up since last week, and I say since last week, we recorded the show on Monday night. It's only been 4 days since it went
5
up.
days.
But the one thing that people pointed out that we didn't notice when we were glancing through them is that Shazam wasn't in the solicits for January. It was missing.
Already, huh?
Yeah, that kind of sucks. It's only been 2 issues. Or will be 2 issues by the time we get to January.
Can't even blame Gary Frank this time.
No. I wonder if John's, show-running Stargirl plus, making sure Doomsday Clock's in time for Gary Frank. I don't know.
I wish he wouldn't do so much. I said, clear something up for me real quick while we're talking about Jeff Johns.
Yep.
Someone told me that he wrote the pilot for Titans, and I can't believe that.
Oh, no, his name was all over that, yeah.
Yeah, but did he actually write it, or was it just a producer credit?
No, it was like story by him and someone else, and then teleplay by him and someone else. So he was a writer on it.
Oh dear, we're in the darkest timeline.
And I've watched it now. I mean, Television for the Multiverse with me and Connor, we recorded it last night, is up. We talked about Titans episode 1.
There you go. I still have not seen it, but it's not. No one's opinion of it that's close to me has swayed me. So.
Dick's a dick. He's a cop. He's not bad though. He's actually one of the better parts in the sense that he's actually really well casted. He looks like Dick Grayson. I can't fault
well, he's
that.
not a bad actor. Brenton Thwaites isn't bad. So some of the character stuff I heard about.
Starfire's plot involving amnesia and the Austrian mafia. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. Well, I did say some stuff about it. You can find out.
Go check that out. But I couldn't believe that. I was hoping that someone got their wires crossed and it was just like a producer credit or a, you know what I mean?
I know he wrote episode, whatever the Doom Patrol episode is, 6 or 7. I know
that makes sense.
He wrote one of those, but now he's involved in the show and he's very passionate. Whenever he talks about it, he seems to believe in it, and I guess we'll see if it develops into something. Because this is the thing, the reviews have been generally positive in terms of the official reviews, and they got more than episode 1 though. I wonder if it does get better by 3 or 4, and it's like, oh, okay, this is starting to show potential.
I hope so, because I read a fan review of it that said they like the darker tone because it makes it more realistic, and I have such an issue with that because to me, when you have people with superpowers, being dark doesn't necessarily make it realistic.
Yeah, the worst part is how edgy it wants to be. When Dick is Robin, he is so violent, he comes across as a psychopath. He actually comes across as a psychopath.
Man. Which fits in Watchmen, where that's the point. But this is not Watchmen. Therefore, not everything needs to be Watchmen. And that's the curse of the 80s, is Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, where they're both very well done stories. But what they did in the public consciousness going forward, I feel at this point have done more harm than good, because they make dark and gritty seem like it's more serious and should be taken.
I don't know. Here's the thing about this though, is I feel like that wasn't actually that much of a problem until the last few movies, until Zack Snyder kind of pulled from it again.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, is that they put them up on this pedestal, and...
Yeah, but Watchmen should be on a pedestal, though. It's just people misunderstand why it's on a pedestal.
But the whole point of that is the nihilism of Watchmen, right? And of Dark Knight. That's of an era of the 80s. So to have it translate and then for people to equate that, we're like, well, no, this is what serious comics look like. Well, here, if you want some serious comics, I can point you in the right way. Like, they're not all painted with the same brush is my point. I hate seeing that criticism of dark and gritty equal more realistic, because I would say like the Nolan movies, those are more realistic, but they're not necessarily dark and gritty, right?
Well, they are dark and gritty, but they're different dark and gritty.
Yeah. I feel like dark and gritty is not necessarily crime. That's crime, like, I don't want to say pulp, but just, I keep seeing that pop up, and it, after Man of Steel, that's given me a bit of a chip on my shoulder when I see that,
Oh dear. No, but I mean, I don't think it's unsalvageable. That's what I said on the show. I don't think it's unsalvageable. They could turn it into something over time.
Well, you saying that? I'll wait for you to watch episode 2.
Yeah.
And then that's what I'll decide to.
I wasn't being optimistic enough to say that episode 2 is going to be the turn. It was just.
I'm just saying, if you're just like, hey, it still shows promise. It can do something. Then.
That could just be denial. Let's be honest here. I'm just living in blind hope more than anything, perhaps.
There's just too much comic book product right now to consume, I feel, between...
Well, it's funny you say that, because we didn't have much comic book news, but there was some TV news this week.
That's what I'm saying.
So, first of all, Lex Luthor's coming to Supergirl. They're casting a Lex Luthor for later in the season. And secondly, so that's official, that's the producers who said that. And then secondly, more in the rumour mill territory, is that they're working on a Superman show. And given the fact that they've cast a Lois and they're just about to cast a Lex, there's some potential there. Like I was kind of like, it's probably just a rumour, there's nothing to it. And then immediately they're like, oh, we're casting a Lex Luthor. And I'm like, well, I guess that kind of lends some credence to it.
I am very excited for that. They want to do a backdoor pilot after this crossover.
During the crossover.
Yeah, that's what I mean. During the crossover, and they do that, please. Also, I saw a headline that said that Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, now that they're doing Elseworlds and they've been on Supergirl, they want a Lois and Clark semi-reunion, and I'm not adverse to that.
I would not be opposed to that at all.
We pop in, we see older, gray-haired Superman.
I don't know if you saw this, but last year at a con, Terry Hatcher went as Lois Lane.
I did not, but that makes my heart melt.
Yeah, so she's a good sport. And also, bizarrely, for Halloween this year, obviously not had Halloween yet, but I assume it was for the kids' party or something like that. Sarah Michelle Gellar, who you might know from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she dressed as Raven, which I thought, that's kind of cool. DC related.
Who did her husband? Was there a picture?
Yeah, it was both of them, and his was less fortunate. He was dressed as Red Hood.
Oh God, Freddy! I was hoping you were gonna say Beast Boy, so we can do the Beast Boy and Raven stuff.
Yeah, hoping he was painted green, but no, he had. I mean, it was a fairly impressive looking cosplay of Red Hood. I'll give him that. Yeah. The helmet looked good, but Dang. Yeah.
I need people to stop thinking Red Hood's a good character, guys. Let's stop. You're only giving Lobdell hope. Stop.
Hey, Red Hood's got his fans. I see it. I see it on the interwebs sometimes.
So think about it. We went and saw. Me and my wife went and saw the new Halloween last night, and we got a trailer for Happy Death Day to You, and it still blows my mind that Lobdell's responsible for that movie. And I don't know how to take that.
It's funny you say that, because I was looking for that trailer online and I could not find it.
It's so beware for the people. If you have not seen the first one, do not watch the second trailer, because the second trailer spoils the entire first movie. Like, they just give it all away.
Because me and Connor should be doing trailer talk later tonight, and I assembled the trailers, and you mentioned the Happy Death Day 2 trailer. I'm like, where is this thing? I can't find it. I'll look for it again after we're done, but I couldn't source it.
it comes up in the trailer. Characters based on Scott Lobdell were created by, and I'm just like, it blows my mind because I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
Oh, it was a great movie. I love Happy Death Day.
Yeah, I just hey, go make more of those movies, Lobdell, and let's leave Red Hood alone. Just let him wither.
No, you can keep Red Hood. Leave Nightwing alone.
Well, that too. I keep seeing all these Red Hood memes, and they think like all the Red Hood fans that are out there, and you guys know who you are thinking like now this problem with Nightwing means like Jason's getting, a push, and we all know what happened last time Jason got a push. He ended up being voted to get blowed up. So think about that, guys.
Yes, but they're not as low in the social rung as release the Snyder Cut people. They're at the bottom.
No,
bottom of the pile.
Some
say bottom.
And stay there, guys. Like, you can join the party once you've sobered up.
So that was the big juicy news of the week. And then we had the Elseworlds poster and Stephen Amell's wearing a Flash outfit. It's weird, and I don't know what to think of it. But
and Barry's wearing a Green Arrow. I couldn't remember the actor's name. Grant Gustin. There it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Isn't an arrow? Which I'm trying to think of the predicament that leads to Barry becoming the Green Arrow and Oliver becoming the Flash, and I'm sure it's there. It just seems so odd because those are two characters you don't think.
Oh sure, I'm sure it'll be forced as hell, but that's kind of an Elseworlds thing, right?
Well, yeah, that's Elseworlds. I'm just saying, like in all the stories that I've ever read, and Elseworlds stories included, that's an odd pairing because you see the Superman and Batman switches all the time, like what if Superman had landed in Gotham?
Yeah, Superman's got a black suit as well in this crossover.
Yeah?
Don't know if it's the regular Superman or if this is Superman from Earth, whatever, or but he's got a black suit on set.
Yeah,
so.
It's very reminiscent. Like people keep saying it's the Death outfit, but to me, it's the Justice Lords without the red from the JLA cartoon. So,
okay.
So it looks like to me, but
Yeah. But hey, so that was just some of the news tidbits. There were some other little things, and the Flash movie's been delayed again because of course it has. But
shocker.
So sales, but it's sales week. Matt's favorite time of the month, so we're going to play a game. We're going to make a game of it. Hey Matt, you want to play a game?
No. I wonder what Jigsaw. I wonder if that's ever just stopped. He's like, okay, well they don't want to play. Let me disassemble this death trap.
Oh dear. All right, what do you think number one was for September? This is the month of September. We got comic sales figures.
DC or Marvel?
It is a Marvel book.
It's a Marvel book. What was the new number one that came out? Is it a Spider-Man book?
No.
No, not a Spider-Man book. Is it an Avengers book?
No.
No, okay. That leaves me one more guess. 3 strikes, I'm out. What could be number one? Oh, Infinity Wars.
Nope.
Gauntlet thing. No?
No. For the record, Infinity Wars issue 3, which is, I can only just see at the bottom here without scrolling down, is at number 18.
Okay. Well, what's number one then?
Number one is Return of Wolverine number 1.
Oh, jeez, I forgot that was a thing. Wolverine.
What do you think number 2 is? For the record, that had 260,000, which I suspect had a lot of variance and other shenanigans.
This is for September?
Yeah.
So that takes me. What was the Batman 55?
55 and 54 were both out, and
yeah. So I'm gonna say Batman 55 is number 2.
Nope. Batman 55 is number 4, and Batman 54 is number 6.
Oh wow. So is it Justice League then?
Nope.
Oh.
I am shocked you're not getting this, to be honest.
It's not Superman.
Matt, what big things have DC had out recently?
Oh yeah, Doomsday Clock.
It's not Doomsday Clock. What other big thing?
The other one, Heroes in Crisis.
Yes, Heroes in Crisis number 1 is number 2 with 140,000.
That just shows you that I put that outside me because of Wally. So, I don't even want to think about it.
What's number 3 then?
Doomsday Clock.
Yes, number 7, and that is 130,000. So that's doing still pretty well. Like I said, number 4 was Batman 55. What do you think number 5 was then? Slotted in between the two Batmans.
Is it DC or is it?
It's DC. A lot of DC in this top 10 up until.
That is.
It's actually 50-50 because the last 4 are Marvel, but whatever.
Yeah, this is where Justice League comes in.
No.
Wow, Snyder book's not there, huh? Well, what's this one then?
It's another Batman book.
Oh. It's not Tech.
Nope.
Tech never's that high.
This is basically an exercise if Matt can remember what books we read last month. That's what this is.
Here's the secret. I don't, because I read too many books. So.
The answer is Batman Damned, Matt.
Oh yeah, we'll say I didn't. I did read that. Damn it.
You did read that, yeah, sure.
Jeez.
That got 95,000. Your Batman number 54 at number 6 with 94,000. Number 7 was Thanos Legacy number 1 with 92,000. Number 8 was Fantastic Four number 2 with 85,000. Which credit where credit's due. That's a good hold for an issue 2 for Marvel.
Yeah.
It's a good hold.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Amazing Spider-Man number 6 with 84,000. Number 10 was Amazing Spider-Man 5 with 82,000. And then you get Justice League number 8.
Wow.
With 76,000, and then the other issue, number 7, is at 13 with 74,000.
Is Thor popping up in the top 20?
Thor is at number 25 with 54,000.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, those I just recently got caught up, and the first 4 issues were kind of rough, but we've had Old Man Thor versus Phoenix Wolverine in the last 2 issues.
Okay,
that's pretty fantastic. So.
Where do you think Superman is, since you're so concerned?
15.
Not bad. 16. With 67,000.
People need to start reading more Superman in action, please.
Yeah, what do you think Action Comics is?
18.
22.
Okay.
57,000. Which did better than Thor there. Which, by the way, for interest here, that's right above number 23, of course, which is Justice League Odyssey number 1, which launched with 57,000, which is not terrible, but it's definitely maybe not as big as it could have been if it had not been delayed and all the other shenanigans that went on. But it was really good though, so people should read it. Read Odyssey. Yeah. Then again, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably tried it because you like DC Comics, but. Tell your friends. Tell your friends to read the book with Jessica Cruz in it because she deserves to be read.
And read Superman in action, please. I want more Bendis on Superman.
As you do.
He's got big stuff planned. The guy keeps seeding it out on Twitter, and it's driving me nuts because they're monthly now. Yeah. So it's I have to wait till next year for reels.
Yeah, you get Detective Flash, you got all these things, yeah. So that's pretty much. Unless there's any book specifically you'd be curious to see where it landed, but
I found out where all my favorites are. It's fine.
That's the biggies, yep. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Can't wait to see Nightwing free fall further than it already was.
That's a good point, actually. Where is it? I want to see what it is in this list so that we can compare it over the next couple of months. I want to be able to track where it's been going. Right. So in the month of September, it wasn't even that high to be honest. The 2 issues were numbers 87 and 88 respectively, with 25,000 each.
Wait, you said 80?
87 and 88, yeah.
Of Nightwing?
Yeah.
We're not up to 87 and 88.
No, 87th and 88th on the list, Matt.
Oh, God, okay. I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Did I miss a whole big chunk?
Issue 48 and 49, that is, for the record. Jesus, Matt.
Just checking.
Which is a bit low, actually. So it's a little bit lower than I would have thought. But
start the free fall.
Well, that's the thing. It's so low, it might not free fall it because it's kind of at that place where just the diehard 20,000 that are always going to read Nightwing will probably still buy it.
I can tell you one less person bought it.
I can tell you 3 less that are going to stop buying it after this issue this week.
Yeah, so
for sure.
I know those numbers are going.
Yeah, although I buy it digitally, so I'm not going to even affect this number anyway. But you know.
True. Me too, because I had to switch to digital. So
Yes.
yeah. Oof.
All right. Okay, there's sales. I guess we'll get to books. We should get to books and talk about books. Starting off then with the crossover book of the month, Justice League Dark issue 4 is the next part in the Witching Hour. James Tynion the fourth and Alvaro Martinez on the art, who of course has been the regular artist on Dark. So he's just doing his regular book basically, while everyone else is doing the other issues. So yeah, they go off to Nana Parbat, and there's a giant goddess demon battle thing happening in the sky.
Yeah, you have Hecate versus Ramatut. Wait,
Ramakrishna. Krishna, yeah.
Ramatut's another thing from comics.
We get the big magical, Wonder Woman arm cross coming in to save the day.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I will admit, I like this is where I kind of tune out a little bit with the magic stuff, is when it just cuts to like Nana Parbat and there's this giant Krishna in the sky, like as a big spirit thing.
Yeah, see, I like that from it. Might be because of 52. Like I like Nanda Parbat and the whole Batman story.
Oh yeah, I mean that's cool.
And also, it reminds me of Kunlun with Iron Fist in the comics.
Oh shit, I don't want to hear about Kunlun, Matt.
I know you don't want to hear about Kunlun, but I like Iron Fist in the comics.
Well, my only exposure to Iron Fist is a TV show, so naturally I have a seething hatred for the TV show, which got cancelled. Ha ha.
Yeah, your joy in that is petty.
I don't care. I'll enjoy my petty joy. Thank you very much.
So you like Ed Brubaker, right? As a writer.
Do you know? I've not read a ton of him, but I mean, he seems good from what I've read. Yeah.
Okay.
Bit of Gotham Central.
You like Matt Fraction at all?
Bit of Cap. I like Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. Anything else I've tried from him, I've been a bit more iffy on.
Oh, I would implore you to try out the Immortal Iron Fist, because that is such a good story, and it's written by the both of them. They trade off on stories, kind of Gotham Central style.
Because I never liked Fraction's Iron Man. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't terrible. It was okay, but
this is definitely more pulpy than anything Fraction's done, and I think Brubaker being there helps. But yeah, so if you guys are listening to this too and haven't read it, if you liked what was going on here in Nanda Parbat, it's a whole series of that kind of stuff. So, a whole lot of fun.
Stop recommending people read Marvel books, Matt. This is not allowed.
I'm just saying, it's one of my favorite stories of all time, so I have to rep that one.
Get a hand slap for disobedience, Matt. How dare you?
No. But yeah, it's the magic-y stuff. I don't want to say it's losing me, but I'm just kind of like, all right, which brand? Cool. I don't know what else to do with this right now.
I'll be honest, I feel like this is stretched beyond the number of issues it needs to be.
Yep, me too. I feel like we're in a holding pattern.
Yeah, I felt like not really... I mean, I know it's like sort of big and spectacle and whatnot, but a lot of this was just kind of the fighting between the forces and a little bit here or there. The interesting stuff was the fact that they've sent the Black Orchid to go and kill the Parliament of Trees, and Swamp Thing's feeling pain. Cool. And I'm like... And I had to actually look up who this specific character was, because I didn't know who it was, and she was a New 52 character. Yeah. Now, I might have seen her in that book, but I couldn't remember her.
Yeah, she blends in and out, but... So I like that a lot. It definitely, this issue gave me a Dave Judgment feel. The old John story where Spectre is trying to destroy magic throughout the DCU. This kind of feels like a new version of that. So, but this time you have Hecate trying to take it over.
Yeah. Obviously the art was good because it was Martinez who's been doing a good job in the book anyway. But I mean, I'll say it. This is easily my least favorite issue of Justice League Dark so far.
Oh, I still think the last one was like Justice League Dark. You're not talking about the Witching Hour.
Not about the Witching Hour, just Justice League Dark.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to argue there.
Yeah. The best issue.
Like part of the crossover.
Yeah, the best part of the crossover is definitely the first one, I think.
Yeah. They kissed it all off.
But I don't know. It felt like it was almost stalling for some of the issue, and then the cliffhanger. They obviously this is what the end of the issue is the power taking control of Diana, right? Hecate is taking control, and I'm like, okay, that's fine as a cliffhanger, but I feel like that could have just been a cliffhanger last issue. We could have just done that then.
Yeah, instead of the whole Cersei thing,
Yeah.
you know.
And the Cersei stuff was fun. It wasn't like it was
Yeah,
bad. It
but
was just
where it left last time was Cersei's like, oh, we're gonna use this power against Hecate. That's like, oh, I have a flood. I'm gonna throw more water at it. Like that doesn't seem to make sense. Uh, and I
yeah.
think Detective Chip says something along those lines. So Man-Bat continues to be charming. I still like
I like
his
Man-Bat.
just like
I
we got the Dead Men, which that was a cool concept. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Where you have these monks in Nanda Parbat
yeah.
that guard the gateway between life and death.
Yeah, and then Kushna to escape sort of actually kind of possesses all of their bodies, like
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting.
Cool.
I like the start of the issue when they're leaving through the portal to go to Nana Parbat. I liked that the narration pointed out that the non-magic users were in awe of the power that Wonder Woman was wielding, but all the ones who did know magic and understood it were terrified of what she was doing. I like that touch because that set up kind of the stakes of what was happening.
Well, and I like that it's building this Zatanna versus Wonder Woman because I feel like this is building to a showdown between those two.
Mm.
And I can't wait to see that because I want to see Zatanna just cut loose. Because she's low-key one of my favorite, I don't want to call her a B-level character because I feel she's better than that, but, she's never in the forefront. Like, she never really has her own series that lasts more than a little bit. So, seeing her be able to cut loose would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's an okay issue. I don't want to be too down on it. Like, it's just not like it's a bad.
It read fine.
Yeah.
It felt like part whatever, and we're building like in an act structure. We're right before the third act break.
Do you know I've noticed with DC's, like, whenever they do these crossovers, and they've done a few of them in Rebirth since we started this show, where you had, Justice League versus Suicide Squad, you had Night of the Monster Men, whatever, right? We've had a few of these things where they last about a month or so, and they're weekly, right, throughout different books. I feel like I'm noticing a big difference between them and the actual events, the actual Metal and Heroes in Crisis and stuff,
right.
Where when I feel like I get a chapter of those books, I feel like I'm getting this meaty chunk where we can sit and dissect it for a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas these weekly crossovers, I feel like we get a part of it, and it's like, okay, some stuff happened and it kind of pushed it forward a little bit, but...
Yeah. These should be more serialized, or they feel like a chapter with its own beginning, middle, and end, because that's what the events do. But I almost feel like they don't want to take away from the events, so that's why this is just like a smaller story arc told over multiple books.
I don't know if... yeah, it could be that. I feel like it's more to do with just the fact that these this sounds harsh, but these feel a bit more rushed compared to the events, where it's just like, let's make this a little crossover instead of just the arc in the book. So instead of being 3 issues in the main book, it turns into 5 issues spread across X number of things. And
that explains why Tynion would have to decompress a little bit, and that's why the last 2 issues feel like it should have just been 1 issue, tighter.
Yeah, it felt like that to me anyway. I read this stuff. I was fine with the big stuff it set up. I was fine with the big moment with Wonder Woman with her arms. That stuff was good. But or at the very least, I'd have almost have liked like more of them talking to Wonder Woman while she was like in power mode. To like, is she acting different? Has her personality been altered by this? What's going on here? But it felt like a lot of big razzle dazzle when the meat underneath it wasn't moving as far forward.
And now we see, because she split up, Hecate split up her power into 5, and we've seen 4 of those 5 now. Because there was the first one.
We've seen 4?
That first one burned up everybody in the Oblivion Bar.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, okay. So we have seen 4.
And then the second one is Manitou Dawn, and then Black Orchid, now Wonder Woman. So there's one more out there of these women that hold the power of Hecate. And I feel where this is going to go is they're all going to have to get together and through like sisterhood or whatever, because they brought up like magic is always done in a coven. So it's never just individual. So it wouldn't surprise me if something happens where like Zatanna becomes that 5th person. She steals the power and she's able with her knowledge to flip it around.
Yeah, maybe. I could see something like that. Yeah,
but the pieces of emotion. It's fine. It's just it's not knocking me back like
I feel like this one will read better if you just read it in one go as a trade. Well, when this trade comes out, I think it'll read better. I think issue to even though it's weekly, so you're getting it quite quickly. I think issue to issue, they're not making each chapter feel like a full meal. They do the same way that the event books do, where I feel like we're getting a full thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's like where you've like I've eaten like all day, but I don't feel full, versus sitting and eating a hearty meal. You know.
Sure, yeah. If you want to keep the analogy going, sure. Matt's just thinking about food now. That's what this is.
I mean, I had donuts for breakfast, but
Yeah, I'm getting hungry. Moving on, because I want to eat. No, I'm kidding. No, like I think it's a solid enough issue, but it's not blowing me away. Like, I liked the first 3 issues of Justice League Dark more than I've liked this crossover so far. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see how it ends up. But
here's the thing too. With I know that the green and the red are mystical, but because they're so based on the biological aspect of life, I feel they should be more science driven. So for Magic to show up and see them as a threat, you think that's the commentary behind it?
I've always kind of thought the red and the green is less magical and more of they're both forces, and magic's also another force, right? So you got the red, the green, the rot, and then you've got magic. And then I suppose you've got the speed force, and you've got all these other wacky things.
Yeah.
But
so I felt that like through this with Hecate and Swamp Thing, is it felt like she was trying to take out another form of magic, because hers is the only one. And that's why she went after the Parliament and whatnot. So. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So we'll obviously read Wonder Woman next week and
get
a better feel for where it's going. But I think just like a couple of these other weekly things where it's more of a very tight little thing that's happening that's spread out over a few issues, as opposed to the events that feel like these big sprawling things where all this stuff's going on. And I'm all for a more focused, compressed or decompressed story, but it feels like it's doing, rather than exploring the emotional side of the characters and what they're going through in this, it feels like it's just throwing big magic-y razzle-dazzle things at me to try and sort of make it feel like there's more things happening, and it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
So.
Although when we do get character stuff like with Detective Chimp here, when he realizes they can teleport with the sword because he is now the Night Master, that was cool. I like that. I still like Tynion. So it's just an odd story to be the second, entry into Justice League Dark.
Yeah. What are we giving it then? Let's rate it.
This is a solid 7 for me. Like, the art was good. The story's decent, but I kind of just want the next chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably agree with the 7. I think the art's maybe giving it, dragging it up to the 7 though a little bit. I would have probably been more like a 6.5, I think, without the art being as good as it is. But yeah, so we'll move on then to Batman 57, Tom King writing, Tony S. Daniel on the art. This is the concluding chapter of this KJ Beast storyline.
Yep.
And Batman's outside the door, KJ Beast is waiting, and he just fires his gun. And the entire, so there's two parts of this issue that are alternating, and one of them is just this fight between Batman and KJ Beast, and them being brutal as shit in the snow, and Batman not holding back because he hurt his dick, and he's going for it.
Did you say he broke his dick?
He broke his dick, yes. Bane broke his back, KJ Beast broke his dick.
Oh boy, we just put that out to the internet.
Yep. But the other part of it is this children's story. This story that, it starts off, it's KJ Beast as a child being told this story, but at the end we find out that Bruce also got this story as a child. So
here's
go on.
Here's my thing. I like to think I'm a fairly smart individual that can pick up on subtext of stories and whatnot. Like, I took enough English classes through high school and college. I don't get the point of the story.
Let me try and enlighten you. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But let me try. So the story in the comic is that it's these animals who are going on a little journey, and they fall in a hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
They fall in a hole, and they got no food. They're going to starve, and then eventually they said, "We're going to have to eat one of us." And the fox keeps making up these excuses as to who they should be eating. They always, don't count him. And it gets to the point where it's just him and the pig, and him and the pig have been eating everyone. And then the fox eats the pig. He convinces the pig to try and eat his own stomach, because they tricks him, because he's like, he keeps some innards of one of the other animals and pretends that he's eating himself. He's like, "No, I'm just eating my own stomach," and pig's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." And then the pig, then the fox feasts on the pig, who he's fattened up. Because I got halfway through, I was like, he's fattening the pig up, so the pig's a nice big meal at the end of this. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So the way I was thinking of this is I'm thinking of this, in part both as the opponent that Batman is to KG Beast because of what he's done, but also in the larger sense of what Tom King's doing with Bane. That Bane is fattening up Batman. Batman's the pig, and Bane's fattening him up, so that when he goes in for the kill, it's a feast.
Okay. Because I was reading it as, because this is so about Nightwing and whatnot, is that Batman is by proxy the fox, and him, even though it's not on purpose, he's setting all these people up. He's never paying the cost. You know what I mean? Like yeah, emotionally he might pay the cost later, but in the moment, because at the end of the story, the fox is still stuck in the hole, right?
Yeah, which is where like that those representing Batman and KG Beast maybe falls a bit more into it. They're both deep in. They're both
right, and so that's when I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, well, it can't be that, but this is such a weird spot to put the story, you know.
I never got that one of them represented Dick, but if people want to like throw me their takes on this, by all means. But I really started thinking, because it reminds me a little bit of Nightfall. How in Nightfall Bane tried to break the bat by unleashing hell on him throughout the days leading up to it.
The night.
Whereas this is kind of, he's doing the same plan again almost, but it's more psychological and it's more of a long game. He's playing the long game and deconstructing his life, and that's where I was thinking he's the fox fattening him up. He's going to be more of a full victory by the time he gets there.
That makes sense. I did love the moment of the issue for me was where Batman fires the grapple gun
in his face,
and and it breaks KGB's neck, and KGB's is laying there in the snow, and they've made it over the last 2 issues known like this is an isolated cabin that it's a trek to get out to. So KGB's is trying to reason with Batman, because he knows like if he leaves him there, he's done. And he goes, "Hey, you broke my neck. Tell me, I'll if you help me, I'll tell you who hired me." And Batman just turns around and goes, "I'm the world's greatest detective. I'll figure it out." And then leaves KG Beast there to die. Like.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he's not going to die. I'm sure he'll be around some.
I mean,
it's
sure,
comics.
But I do like that idea that while technically not crossing the line, Batman's been pushed so far. Like, well, you just shot my son.
Well,
I don't care what happens to you.
I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. Just to quote Batman Begins.
Exactly.
There. Yeah.
But this was a little bit more Batman's doing. Than the train at the end of Begins. So yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I also think you could maybe read it as like how each of those characters interpreted the story themselves differently, and what it meant to either character. What did it mean to Bruce? Was it a warning to Bruce? To KG Beast, was it like, admiration? Was it a tactic? Was he like admiring the wolf and the tricks that he played?
Right.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. A lot to think on. And this was Tony Daniel on both art, right? Like he did the storybook art and the fight.
I think so. I didn't see any other names, but I could be. Let me go double check. Yeah. But
because if that's the case, I love when artists switch up their style to do something different. So
I will say I actually do have some complaints with the art in the regular Batman and KG Beast fight. I do think some of the faces are a little bit skewed. Like they almost feel a little bit rushed to me. Some of the faces.
Yeah. But they look more like sketches than they do anything else.
Yeah. I'm also, it is Tony Daniel just on the art as well. No one else.
Okay. Yeah, so I like that. I like that cartoonish, storybook style to it.
Yeah, no, I like them in the snow. I think that art's great. I just think some of the faces, they're not quite there, but I'm almost getting some like proto JRJR like vibes from the way the mouths are kind of sitting
Yeah,
and the
I can see
chins.
that. They're a
Uh,
little bit more angular than normal.
yeah, and Daniel's usually better than that, so I'm wondering if he was maybe struggling to finish the 3 issues off by the time he got to this part.
Yeah.
But is this it's overall pretty good? No, I mean I like the issue. I do like that King keeps like throwing different things at us and is making us think in different ways. And here we're interpreting what this story of the pig and the fox and the animals means, and so someone's probably going to do a great write up of where every animal represents someone else, and this represents this character and this represents this character and so on.
That's good. Also, I didn't notice it until I'm just looking at it right now, where Bruce's dad is like, why you love that one? I don't know. Like, he's even looking at his kid like, all right, I'll read you. I don't know why you like it, but sure.
Yeah.
I like that little moment there.
I think with Bruce, you could say, there's a darkness in him, even even at a young age.
Yeah.
There's a darkness.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was good. But not like one of his standout issues by any means.
Oh no. I'm excited to see where it goes from here, because now we have this and everything else going on still.
Yeah. I do like the idea though that Bruce like hunted KGBs to the ends of the earth because of what he did to Dick. I like that element of it. I like that quite a bit. And devoting the entire issue to this just brutal, fist to fist fight that they're going through, just give it a bit of weight. So I like that. What are you giving it, Matt?
Yeah, so even the missteps in the art, I do feel like it was a solid issue. So I'm going to give it an 8. So I liked what the story had to do. I mean, the fact that we can have this open-ended discussion about what the animal story meant, what the fairy tale meant. I like that. You don't get that too much in comics anymore. It's all very black and white, and this is all very just like, it's kind of what you make it.
Yeah.
And usually that upsets me, but here I think because of what King's been doing in his run overall, it fits into that puzzle piece a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, is Batman worried that he's the wolf? Is he the wolf or the pig, and he doesn't know yet?
Right.
Is that like part of the concern? Which I like the art when the fox convinced the pigs to eat one of them. I love how evil the pig's eyes went. I was like, oh man, this is almost Professor Pig levels of evil pig.
Yeah, well, people don't realize how brutal pigs actually are in the wild. Like they are. One of the guys I used to work with was from Bosnia, and his friend owned a pig farm. And they're like, oh, yeah, they can crunch any bone, but they'll choke on teeth. So, if you're getting rid of a body, you got to pull the teeth first. And I don't know if he was just messing with me, but I believed him, So
that's gold.
Yeah.
That's Batman. Which does take us on to Justice League.
Oh, wait, what'd you rate it?
Oh, 8 as well. 8 as well. I agree.
Oh, okay.
8. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, moving on to Justice League issue 10. This is Scott Snyder, Francis Manapul's here for this one.
Connor's missing out.
Setting up some Drowned Earth goodness, and we have Aquaman and Wonder Woman looking for this lost ship in the Arctic.
Yeah. I love the idea that Poseidon had all these shrunken boats of like boats that had gone down. And they're like part of his collection. That's at least how I read it.
Well, that's how they're tracking it. They've got a shrunken boat in a bottle that's kind of directing them to where to look.
Right. But I took it like this was from his collection of sunken boats. Like that he's claimed them as his own. So that's why it's there. So they know it's there somewhere. They just have to locate where it is. So I like that idea.
Yeah, and they've got Firestorm there to melt the ice.
Transmute.
Yeah,
transmute things if necessary.
As you do. Meanwhile, Superman, Flash, and Adam Strange are fighting the Volcano Men as it corrects itself.
Such a Silver Age concept that Volcano Man is giving birth to Volcano Men. Like,
Yeah,
And I like when Barry and Clark team up. They make a good team.
Yeah.
I want a Brave and the Bold story with those two.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the first half of the book, after it establishes where Wonder Woman and Aquaman are, it just kind of like checks in with Superman and Batman and Co. just to tell you where are they, what they're doing. Batman's bones are all still broken. He's in this suit, this cast of a suit, and then Kendra, John, and Jean are all off to Thanagar Prime, so we see they're gone. And that's when we kind of just zero back in on what's going on with Aquaman and Wonder Woman and what's going on there. I thought this was where the art was at its best. Actually, was the frozen ships and all that. I really liked that stuff.
So I knew it was Manapul, but early on it didn't look. So I don't know if he's coloring it different. I don't know if he's inking himself different. It didn't feel like Manapul, which I think is good because it made it feel, I don't want to say special, but it made it feel different versus the typical Manapul stuff.
Yeah. So it's the ship of Arion, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Arion.
Yeah, Arion. There you go. And they basically, a kraken appears once they get to the ship, once they find it. This space kraken, as Firestorm so scarily, wait, so you say it's a space kraken then, not just a kraken, a space kraken. All right. So, and we get this was it the Blood Reef, and we get these like guardians of the Blood Reef, and it sounds like, oh, these were the guardians that came to help against the invaders back when back when all this was going down. Poseidon was getting this army together, but it turns out no, they weren't the helpers, they were the invaders.
Right, and they're deities from other planets, basically.
Yeah,
another galaxy of their ocean gods.
Yeah. So
such a concept.
So if Poseidon's our ocean god, then these are the ocean gods of these other planets and other worlds. I almost like to think of it as like if the water had its version of a swamp thing, the guardian of the water. That's what these are for these other worlds.
And they want to claim Earth as their own.
Yeah, because they turn the water purple, and the purple water like turns anyone who touches it into like one of their drowned
ocean beasts.
Beasts, yeah. And they have all these spaceships that appear in the orbit, and Batman's like, Mayday, Mayday, we got ships in the sky, and they're here to invade Earth.
Yeah.
Stuff's happening. So there was actually cities being flooded. Like we see like New York or whatever, and there's like just water going down the streets and all sorts. So and that's basically the issue. It's setting up the thing. It sets up the crisis, if you will.
Let's not sleep on the fact that Batman kept a chunk of Starro, that he's now named Jarro, because it's a little baby Starro, which, as someone that studied a little bit of marine biology...
Well, hold on a second. You're missing the best detail here. He calls it Jarro because it's Starro in a jar.
Right. But the fact, like, if you chop up a sea star, because... I don't know. You're doing science. As long as there's a chunk of the middle, it'll regrow. So if you chop up a sea star into 5 pieces, as long as there's a piece of that middle part, it'll grow a completely new sea star. So the fact here that they're playing with that this piece of Starro is going to become its own, and now it's basically being raised by Batman and the Justice League. That was a fantastic idea.
I'm sure Snyder's got plans. I don't know where he's going with it, but I'm sure he's got plans.
He gave us Starbro. So, like... Oh, man. Starbro Jr.? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, put that on a shirt. They look like the Carl's Jr. logo.
Yeah, it was funny. In a few books' time, we'll get to Aquaman, which is actually a tie-in to this this week. So we'll get to some more of this Drowned Earth stuff, but... I like the setup. I like the. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't necessarily think every Justice League story has to be the entire world's in peril, but the visual of the evil water like flooding all the cities is kind of a neat visual. Although that said, I do kind of think there's too many things that happen in comics where everyone on the planet gets changed and then changes back at the end when they fix it, and I'm like, okay, all right. At this point, how many metamorphoses like every human on Earth went through?
Yeah, people have just learned to accept it now.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm a monster. All right, let's wait for the Justice League to change me back.
Yeah. So, but it was a solid setup issue. I think this the whole other world sea gods thing is a really cool idea.
Yeah,
I'm into
definitely. The art really took it up because it is Manapul, and the fact that he's doing it a little bit different. And I just liked it. I re-looked at the issue while I was listening to you talk, and it's definitely the coloring's just a little bit different. So whatever he's doing different, it makes it pop differently.
In places, I think when it got to Superman, it looked just like Manapul to me.
Yeah, that's what made me realize it was Manapul. Because, sometimes I skim over the credits page, and I was like, oh, Francis is on this one. That's right, I knew that. And then you go back and look at those first couple pages, and it's like, oh yeah, this looks like Manapul, but it's not. Doesn't feel like it.
You're too into the story, right? You're not reading the credits page necessarily all the time, but I like this quite a bit. Let's say probably another 8 out of 10 for me. I don't know what you're.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you, so I give it an 8.5.
That's fair. Well, that'll take us on then to Green Lanterns issue 57, the final issue in the series. Dan Jurgens writing and Mike Perkins on the art. And now you weren't here actually because bizarrely we had 2 in a row now with just you and me. We had one with just me and Connor the week before that because you were away. And me and Connor were laughing. We thought it was like a mediocre issue overall with some nice bits here or there. But we were laughing our asses off at the idea of Hank Henshaw trying to nuke Coast City again.
He's like a one-trick pony.
This is great. No, think about it though. If he achieved this, which he doesn't obviously, but if he achieved this, he'd have nuked Coast City twice.
Right.
Twice.
Oh, Jesus, guy. And I don't understand why.
Well, this one's just out of spite. He's just petty that Hal Jordan's getting in his way. He's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go nuke your city again.
Yeah, the first one was due to Mongol, if I remember right. Creating War World. Like, Coast City was a casualty of that. Yeah. Oh, man. I like Jurgens a lot, but this arc just did not do it for me. It was really up and down.
I like this issue more than the last few. I think because it was just the action of like him showing up and like murdering innocent people and then Hal having to fight him. I was like, okay, I'm into the action. The art's pretty good. So, I was into that a bit more. I do like that Jess gets the proper send-off page because it's like, she's the important character of this book, so give her the nice big send-off where she's going to go and do Odyssey now. And it does actually answer a question because I don't think we brought this up on the show, but I did notice it when I read it. In Odyssey issue 1, Jess mentioned Oa, and I was like, wait a minute, Oa? We're not on Oa right now. I've not been using Oa. But turns out the Guardians have rebuilt Oa in this book, and they're back on Oa. So Mogul can heal because it's been through hell.
Yeah. Like, so it cracks me up is, the Guardians doing stuff in the background, totally out of character for them. Oh, they didn't tell anybody? Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. Here's the thing, though. So when does Supergirl take place? Because they're still on Mogo.
Before this.
Yeah, it has to, right?
That's my easy answer. Before this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was fine. I feel like there need to be more setup with Eon, and what's up with him.
Oh no, I agree. And it's worth mentioning as well is that Hank and Eon both disappear at the end, so they're actually kind of at both end. Like, so clearly Jurgens has got plans for both those characters somewhere. Yeah. Who knows where? We'll find out.
And this almost continued from his action run.
Yeah.
So I like how he does that.
I will say I do appreciate that the book had balls to kill a child in the opening page.
Yeah.
Because there's a mother with her son, and then he just took this blast, and his Henshaw's incinerated him. I kind of like how dark that is, to be honest.
Of course you would. You hate children.
I also like that his construct is made up of all the different colours. Because he's got the thingy ring. What do we call it?
Phantom ring.
Phantom ring. Thank you. So I like that. That's a nice touch. And yeah, I mean, it just kind of wraps everything up pretty much along that. And there you go. Hal brings in some other lanterns who have not, because apparently the way he can't infect rings that have not been charged recently. So he brings out some lanterns who have not charged in a while to beat him.
Which I like, and I like how they're all different. Like you have the plant-looking guy with the broccoli head, and and all these other different guys. So that was cool. I like when they remind you that there's other Green Lanterns other than the Earth Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
Like we always know that, but to see this variety, that was super cool.
Yeah, and I like the. It's weird because Simon and Jess were almost not a big part of this issue until the final few pages. But I did like that scene a lot, where she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to not be a partner anymore." And he's like, "What? This is the partner equivalent of it's not me, it's you, or it's not you, it's me." To say it the right way around. Although when I use it, it's not me, it's you. That's just for the record. But
you really let them know.
Yeah. Just I want you to know that this is purely about your personality and nothing else.
Oh man.
But no, at least he gets a send off. So I thought this issue was fine. Like it's not a great issue by any means, but it's solid enough. It has some nice character beats, and the action's pretty good. The art's pretty good. It's at the end of an arc that's been really up and down and all over the place over the last 3 or 4 issues.
Big time.
Yeah,
and we know there's bigger things coming up for Jess, so that's good. I wonder what's going on with Simon and the rest of the Corps, because we know that Sharp and Morrison are doing that Green Lantern book.
Yeah.
So I wonder what's going on
starting
with
next
the rest of
month.
the Corps.
We're close. That's next month that starts. So I don't know what Simon or Kyle or actually Kyle's got Titan, so we're getting Kyle on something.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
But Guy,
John
and Baz are kind of.
Well, John's in the Justice League.
Oh, true. So you're right.
It's Guy and Simon are the Earth Lanterns that
getting the shaft.
Give me a team up book. Yeah, give me a team up book of those two. That'll be good.
Yeah, give me a team up book with those two so I can ignore it. Yes.
That's fine. I'll enjoy it. Space Cabbie. Throw Space Cabbie in there. We're good.
Well, Space Cabbie's in Super Sons now, Matt. You weren't here to talk about that issue, but
I saw it though. I read it.
Yeah, I figured that'd make you happy. Yeah, no, I mean, like this was a decent end with a couple of nice standout moments for an arc that's been kind of troublesome. Even though I liked the first couple issues of the arc, and then it kind of nosedived, and then it kind of meandered, and then it kind of picked up a little bit, and then this issue's better. Because the biggest problem I had with the last issue actually was the characterization of Simon, because they did some weird retcon of his gun advancement. But
that was bad.
But hey. But it's fine. I had some moments. I like Jesse's send off, and I like the more children that die in stories, the better. Quite frankly, too many stories pussy out of it. No, kill the kids.
Good Lord, Pete.
So the only good part of that entire Star Wars prequel trilogy is when he decides to kill all the children.
Well, only because of the memes he got out of it. So.
I really hate sand. But anyway, so that's Green Lanterns 57. What are you giving it, Matt?
Yeah, this was a 7. It was fine. I'm just glad it's over. It was serviceable.
Yeah, I'll go with 7 as well. I'm trying to debate it in my head. It's good. I'm kind of tempted to go with more 6.5. 6.5. I don't think it's maybe quite a 7, but there you go. Alright, well that takes us on to arguably the main event of the week, which is Nightwing issue 51. Now, we promised, which by the way, I want to point out that Connor promised that he would hate read this, and that's what convinced me to read it as well. And then the shitbag isn't here to suffer with us. I want to point that out. So Scott Lobdell on writing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm going to be upfront and honest. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But, see, my dog just disagreed, though. She just gave a growl. She knows it's coming. But it's still a terrible character development for Nightwing. And putting Lobdell on it isn't doing you any favors. So, this feels very much like a book from the 90s. And not in that fun throwback way that sometimes that you get.
It's funny because I was getting like the worst of the New 52 vibes from this. Not only this issue, last issue as well, but...
Yeah, last issue was definitely more of New 52 for me, just because of the angstiness behind him. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to change his name from Dick to Rick.
Because they're determined to get away from the dick puns, but you know what? You can't take her dick away from us, alright?
No, you can't. You can't put the dick. I almost said it in the pants, but that doesn't make any sense because We're not talking about that. But, but, yeah. So while this was at least readable, I don't need to read anymore because it's just upsetting.
Oh yeah,
I don't understand why DC is doing this.
I don't want to touch it. I knew coming into this that I was not going to read a single page after this issue because I don't want to. I just wanted to at least say that I'd tried the Lobdell issues and just leave it at that. But it's like you say, it's not as anger-inducing as the last issue because it's not the first time I've had to put up with it. But there's the whole scene where Alfred comes to the bar and he's trying to talk to him, and Dick is just this asshole who gets drunk all the time and doesn't want to know anything about his past life. And I'm like, why do I care about this version of him? I don't want it. Because at one point he says, oh, that past version of me is gone and this is who I am now. Well, that's great, but I don't want to read about this past version of you.
Yeah. Me neither. I don't want to know this Dick Grayson. And the fact that he talks about Barbara and Robin, I understand, again, so I didn't get to talk about this because I was gone for issue 50. But, like, there's, like, legit science behind head injuries and it changing personalities and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But this is the comic thing where it turns it up to 15. And this is a completely different character. Like, I almost just wish they would have killed Dick in that gunshot or him being in a coma. Then this completely changes personality.
Yeah, a coma would be better because he'd just be away for a while and he'll come back later.
Right. Right. Well, or even a death. Like, even because, no one stays dead in comics anymore.
Sure.
It used to be Jason Todd and Bucky. And now they're both very prominent characters. Well, I don't want to say prominent for DC, but they're both characters that are still around since in the last 10 years. So now it's like Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is literally the only character that has stayed dead in comics. So
not counting Elseworlds and other universes, I'd say the Waynes also.
The Waynes also
Get to fall in there.
Because we've had versions of Uncle Ben pop up in the Spider-Verse, from what I understand. But I'm saying, like, in storyline, everybody else, like Superman's come back and Batman's come back and
freaking Krypton's came back.
Krypton's come back. Barry Allen has been back. So them killing Dick, I felt would have been a little bit more brave than this direction, and especially with that Titans issue, with how Beast Boy was acting and whatnot, like that felt like I could see what they were going for. This is just, I don't care. Because like you said, he's a jerk. I don't care that he's driving cars. I don't care about this cop. So they introduce us to this new cop where I'm like, well, where's Svoboda? Because like she's Bloodhaven's detective that we all know and love, investigating the when Dick blew up his bunker at the end of the last issue. This new cop shows up and it's just like, oh well, I guess Nightwing's gone. So at the end, you get this epilogue where someone who kind of resembles Dick is standing in front of the case.
Well, there's someone he flat out he refers to himself as the cop, so we know it's him.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. But for the first page, they're kind of guiding you, like, oh, well, maybe this is a turn, but no, it's the cop.
Which, to be fair, would have pissed me off if it was like, oh, Dick is putting the suit back on, because it's like all he had to do was have one moment where he remembered how to fight, and that's him back in the suit. So I'm glad they didn't do that, because that would have felt cheap. But yeah, I don't care about this cop who's dressed up as Dick, but he's wearing he's got a gun with him instead, and like
they've done this before in the New 52 when you had two Nightwings running around. You've done it before when it was Jason running around as pre-New 52. You've had NIT Nightwing in the old Chuck Dixon of a guy that was running around as fake. Like, fake Nightwings are like a thing, it's kind of lazy, and it upsets me because Dick Grayson's one of my favorite characters, and now they're taking him away from me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, like, I don't want to read about this character. I didn't like it in the last issue, I hate it in this issue as well. Nothing about it made me think, oh, I'm going to enjoy the journey of discovery, because obviously the selling point should be here that he'll gradually remember things and he'll have that eureka moment, and it'll be like a really feel-good moment when he becomes Nightwing. I don't care about Lobdell telling this story. I also don't care about this version of the character until we get to that point. especially since with comics, you kind of get this feeling like, oh no, this is going to be the status quo for X amount of time until they need him back for something else. So it could be longer than it should be because comics are, twice a month, once a month. Although it is worth mentioning, there's only one Nightwing issue, I think, in January, which, take that for what you will.
No. Yeah. I mean, we'll know because of solicits and whatnot, but it's not like we're going to...
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll see it coming, sure.
That's... So now I'm proud to say that that's one less comic that's going in the box, of many boxes.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So they made it easy for me.
Yeah, because he's driving around and he gets mugged and he remembers without even realizing he remembers. He just kind of fights and he's like, "Whoa! Like what just happened?" My muscle memory kicked in and I beat up people.
I did like that scene where he just like, "Just take my wallet. I don't care."
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take your cab then." And then it like, as you said, muscle memory kicks in. I like that. So like again, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be, because it wasn't complete like hot street trash, to borrow a phrase from Mario, but it also wasn't great. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just surprised it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
I mean, that feels too positive for me. I can't say that. Yeah, I have no interest in reading any more of this, and this did nothing to change my mind.
It's like if you fall down the stairs and don't break anything, you're kind of like, oh, that could have been way worse, but you still fell down the stairs,
Sometimes your analogies leave a little to be desired, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
This is more like, oh, my foot gets snapped in half, but at least it didn't get infected.
Wow. I don't know. I've fallen down the stairs before and it's not fun.
Oh, I'm sure you
That's
have.
all.
That's such a Matt thing to do. What are you rating Nightwing 51 out of 10?
Oh, yeah.
Fix your mic first, and then give us your rating of Nightwing out of 10. Oh, jeez. That was an assault in the eardrums, people.
There we go. How's that now?
Ah, you're back. Yes.
All right. Yeah. So this was a 5 out of 10. We all know me. My grading's a little bit inflated, so I'm sure Pete's will be way lower. But again, I thought it was going to be way worse. The art's not terrible either, so I find it hard.
Two artists though. It had both Travis Moore and Gary Brown on art, and I did feel the change when it happened. I think it happened with the Scarecrow page because they're teasing Scarecrows, up to something.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that because that was a big thing in the last issue too.
Yeah.
Poor Percy. Ben Percy deserved better than this, but at least he got to walk away on his own terms.
Yeah. Percy deserved better. That's the sentiment coming out of Nightwing 50. I love that. No, at least none of us felt that it's like, oh, we know it's not his fault. This is not on him. Even if he technically wrote the words that were those speech bubbles in that comic, this was not on him.
He made it clear he didn't want to do this. That's why he got busy.
Well, he avoided saying that as much as he possibly could, but I thoroughly believe that was the final straw, because I believe that he had a lot of work to do and that he was struggling. Maybe like he had, it was like, oh, it would be nice to drop something and just focus on my books or my TV deals or whatever. But I think this was the straw. This was the final straw that said, you know what? Yeah, I can just walk away from this now. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, we're never gonna know what happened with the Dark Web and Worm. And Vicky Vale got out.
And Willem, who got kidnapped, So that's just going to be there. There'll be an annual or something where someone will write about Batman getting in and solving it quickly after the fact. Just, Batman slipped in and saved them.
If they want to switch it over to Babs after she gets her thing settled with Grotesque, I'm cool with that. That could be fun.
That could be a thing, yeah. But hey, Nightwing's depressing. So there'll be no continuing coverage of Nightwing until the book changes and Lobdell's gone. That is the stance.
And even if they bring him back to the Dick we all know and love, and Lobdell's still writing it, that's a hard pass for me.
I think, because I don't expect it to just happen in the book. If it does, I might read the issue where it happens just to see how they do it. Like, how does he come back?
Yeah, or if this is like a proof, like after all the bad stuff that's happened at Sanctuary, but it helps Dick out after they get Heroes in Crisis settled, then cool. But still, if Lobdell's writing it, I'm gonna try to stay away.
Because I could almost see it happening in an event or in a crossover or something where that's when the moment happens that he comes back. yeah, no more Nightwing on this show because it's garbage, and we want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So, all dropping it. So bye Nightwing. And I hate to say it, I really do, but you're not my Dick Grayson. So, and I say that sounds like such an entitled fanboy thing to say, but it's awful. I don't want to read about this character.
Yeah.
So anyway,
well, for me, it's always different when it's in the comics, when there's a sudden shift versus like the TV version or the movie version. You know, at least you could always fall back on the comics, but they're changing the comic version. We can't go to the Titans version because that guy seems like a jerk too.
Well, I think the bigger problem here is that it's fine to gradually change a character or whatever, but even do it suddenly. Yeah, but even do it suddenly. You can do it suddenly if it makes sense for the story. The problem is this just feels like a forced change for no reason. We can't fathom why.
It's that tonal shift that was clearly editorial. It's not like they had like, oh, this is a cool story to do, you know? I don't know. I don't like it though.
Anyway, let's move on. I'm sick of talking about this now. I don't want to talk about Nightwing again until it's fixed, or we hear about it being fixed. Anyway, moving on to Aquaman 41. Dan Abnett writing, Len Medina on the art. This is the tie-in to the Drowned Earth, and basically what this is, it's really simple. It's basically the purple poison water that's spreading from the water gods, and it's basically how it affects Atlantis.
Yep.
When it hits Atlantis, who are on the surface, of course, and we start off with a kid complaining that they're on the surface. He doesn't like how the sun is on his back because he's not used to it.
Can we touch on real quick that his name's Dodo?
You can if you want. Yeah,
come on, Abnett, give him a better name than Dodo.
I've seen worse.
I don't know, man. Every time I read that name, I started laughing. Like,
I mean, admittedly, in a week where we got Jaro, it's not up to par, but still.
I just mean, because I hear Dodo and I think of the bird that went extinct because it couldn't adapt to humans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know.
Maybe he's going for a thematic link there.
Maybe, but I did like that kid's story through this, where he's like, I don't like Mom, I don't like the sun and the water. Like, I miss it. I want to go back to Atlantis. Well, now you can't. Like, you go in the water, you become a fish creature.
Yeah. So yeah, it starts to affect everyone, turn them into fish monsters, and Mira's like trying to like hold their ground, and she's got like her aquakinesis, like, you know, sort of blocking the water from coming in, but she can't hold it forever. She actually gets through to Batman, who's back at the Hall of Justice, and they're basically communicating and trying to figure out what to do. And we get a sense of the scale. I think that's what this issue does more than anything. It gives us a sense of the scale of what's happened because of Justice League. There's actually a 2-page layout in here that basically just repeats a scene from Justice League to explain what's happening.
Down to the wording.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's the same dialogue, yeah. And it just says at the end, if you want to find out more, go read Justice League 10. You should do that. Yeah. But it's a fine tie-in. This is kind of what I like in a tie-in, where it gives you a sense of the scope of what's happening around the world because of the main thing that's happening in the main story.
I love the admiration that Bruce gives Mara when he finds out that she's keeping Atlantis from the water by herself through the aquakinesis. She's like, well, whatever you're doing there, it's working. She's like, well, no, that's on me. Like, that's not Atlantis. I'm doing this. And then she can't keep it anymore, and it's just herself. Like, she's created like a force field.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because it breaks down, and then everyone starts to get infected around her, and she's able to keep herself shielded, and that's it. And she's seeing everyone else turned into a monster. It's kind of cruel, you know. It's
definitely
got a dark tinge to it.
And then, you know, dark times call for desperate measures, and they got someone locked away in the highest tower of Atlantis, and it's Orm. So just when we thought we were done with Orm in the Mara mini, here he comes back in to, you know, as Ocean Master. So that should be fun. Although I see a heel turn coming, like big time. You don't give Seth Rollins the chair and expect him not to use it.
I feel like Orm might try and make a deal with the gods there. Yeah,
the dark gods. He's like, oh, you Poseidon who? I'll take you guys on. Come on, be my friend.
Yeah. I quite like the art in this one. I liked how it played with the water. Anytime I saw the water in the cities and stuff like that, I really liked it. I'd like to say
Merc's transformation. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's kind of slow, yeah, and then because he's
Yeah.
fighting the monsters, then he gets infected, and then he turns into a monster. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I actually, like you say, I really like the Batman Mira kind of like back and forth, their relationship in this, where Batman's like, look, I can't contact the rest of the Justice League. It might just be us, so I need you to be on board and come and help me fix this. I need you, Mira. You're part of the Justice League, damn it. And I was like,
Right.
you know what? You don't get a lot of Batman and Mira teaming up as a pair. And I'm like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I like that. And just him being impressed by her, like, oh man, like you don't get that out of Batman. His best friend's Superman, and he's just kind of like, oh yeah, there's Clark. Clark's gonna do what Clark does. But the fact, like, he didn't know she was this powerful.
Yeah.
You know,
he isn't like giving Superman the satisfaction.
Yeah. So.
He's like, yeah, I'll hit your baseballs, Clark. Just you try it. Go on. Throw me a ball. Yeah.
Well, and I also love that, like, everyone's part of the Justice League now. Like, I like that. I like that they have a deep roster that, even though it's the Big Seven, as we know it now, or 8, whatever it is, with, you know, the fact that in Justice League we got Firestorm and Adam Strange, and here he's like, well, Mira, you're part of the Justice League too. Like, we're going to help you.
Yeah,
I like that.
It does feel like an extended team they can call upon, even if they're the main squad. Yeah, I mean that even ties into the fact that Justice League Dark and Odyssey and all these other groups are all kind of subsects, and Titans are a subsect who live in the. Well, I mean, Odyssey doesn't live in the Hall of Justice because they're off in space in a spaceship, but
they're not exactly sanctioned either.
Yeah,
so,
but the rest of them are. They're all part of the
Titans
system.
And to a lesser extent, the Teen Titans.
I think they're more rogue, the Teen Titans.
Yeah, but still, you have the feeling like they're if they needed help, there's someone they could ask. You know, like
sure. I mean, we're not reading that, so
no, I don't know what's going on.
It's up to speculation. I'm okay not knowing, I guess. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it was a solid tie-in. Like, if I'm rating that, it was a straight 7. The art was pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree.
It sold the stakes and the scale of what's happening in Drowned Earth. And it was like, you know, here's how it's affecting a place that it's interesting to explore how Atlantis would specifically be affected by this, because they're the water people.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I love that the Reverend Mother Satya, she's like, well, you know, Mara, Atlantis isn't meant to be waterproof. Like we're under the ocean, so like as soon as this water starts to rise, we're kind of screwed. So I like that. Also makes me think what Waller's gonna do, because we had that. Her and Waller have like this mutual respect now, based off of the last Aquaman arc. So I wonder if Waller's gonna pop back up during this Drowned Earth stuff.
I could see it. I think the next Aquaman's also a tie-in.
I think so too.
It's worth mentioning though, it is a tie-in. It's not part of the main story. You could skip it if you just want to read the main chapters. By the looks of it.
Yeah, because we got coming up next is the Drowned Earth special.
Yeah, that's on week 5 this month, and then it's weird. There's like Justice League and Aquaman the same day, and then there's like 2 weeks off or 1 week off, and then it's Justice League again. It's kind of weird, but or vice versa. But point stand.
Whatever it works, yeah.
So, which is funny to me because they're doing the whole like special issue at the start and the end, but it's basically just a Justice League arc with 2 extra issues.
Yeah,
that are bigger.
Kind of like Justice League Dark and Wonder Woman, where they just tied it into Wonder Woman. You know, and they had that Witching Hour special.
What I'm saying is that unlike that though, that would be though as if Wonder Woman wasn't actually part of the main arc. It was just a tie-in.
Right.
But it's not. In Witching Hour, all those issues are main chapters that you have to read to follow the story. Whereas with this Aquaman, you could skip potentially if you wanted to. But there was a solid tie-in though. So I mean, you should read it. But
very true.
So 7 out of 10 for me. What are you giving it?
Yep, I agreed. 7 out of 10.
Okay. Cool. So moving on then to the final book of the week, and that is Sideways issue 9. Dan Didio, of all people, writing, and Max Raynor on art.
Didio, man, he's worse. This guy, I have so many alternating emotions about this guy, because he goes and the whole New 52 stuff, and then he's self-effacing, but then there's some questionable decisions that get made, and then he gives us this issue, which the first half I was kind of like, what's going on? I forgot everything that happened. But then we get to the back half.
So here's my thing. I am mixed on this issue. I am of 2 minds. I really like, because I really like the ongoing story of Sideways. I loved going back to like the other people, like Ernie at the funeral for his mum, and the detective investigating. Obviously, Clark and Lois are there because Lois knew his mum, which was a nice little touch. A little joke about flying home as well. That's fine. I like that stuff. I like Ernie sticking up for him and try to like make sure he doesn't get into trouble and like fighting her sister almost to stop her from talking to the cops.
And the dad seems very sinister, kind of like, oh, that was her son. Never really been my son.
Yeah, he's going to foster care. I'm done.
Yeah, like there's something deeper going on there, and then you get to the whole what Sideways is up to in this forgotten world. Yeah, these Silver Age characters.
That's where I'm feeling a bit more mixed. Is I feel like the actual Sideways stuff in this issue is a bit more of a tangent from what I like the book to be.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like he's all over the place, but then I would be lying when I got to the last page and I didn't like, oh, what is going on here? Like,
well, I like because I wasn't feeling the whole thing where they're in this dark multiverse world and this guy's trying to feed on everyone. I wasn't really feeling that, but I did kind of like the mysterious cloak figure who like kind of gives him his powers back, and I'm like, oh, who's this? Oh. Someone who cares about him but hopes not to see him again because obviously that means bad things because they're in Dark Multiverse and so on. Like, what? Oh, who is this? What's going on? Damn it.
I felt like it was his mom. I felt like that's what the shadows were about. It's a version of his mom.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So.
But or do you mean his real mom or his adopted mom?
His real mom.
His real mom. Okay.
Like,
all right. Okay.
Like he's always had these powers. But or maybe his dad, I don't know. But he's always had these powers, but it wasn't until the Dark Multiverse, until Challenger Mountain showed up.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about his biological parents here, not his adopted, right? Yeah.
Right. So, and they're trapped in the Dark Multiverse, so you can't, they can't see him. He has to go back to Earth. But which gives it a kind of Superman vibe, right?
I think it was just a bit too many. It was the same last issue. I wasn't at the Seven Soldier stuff that much, and I think it's because it was too many characters. It was taking them away from the rest of the cast and putting them into this weird, wacky side story that I'm just not feeling as much. It feels a bit too haphazard. Where I love his world. I love being around his school. Ernie, his ongoing plot about keeping his identity a secret. I like all that side of it, and I like some parts of this. I like the mysterious figure, and I do like the funeral stuff. Because again, that's back to the supporting cast and the evil boss who had his mum killed, who's there and pretending to give a shit, all that stuff. Into all that, but not feeling this side tangent of a journey through the Dark Multiverse. Yeah. At least yet. Maybe they'll upswing me next time.
So he finds this cocoon, he gets his powers back, and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
And he riffs into it, and who pops out? But Jean Superman from New 52.
Not Jean Superman, Jean's Superman.
Well, Jean's at Superman, there we go.
I was like, who's Jean Superman? Who's this character we've not met yet? Hey Jean, how you doing, Miss Superman?
If we have any artists that listen, if you could just draw up whoever Jean Superman is, I would and send it to us on Twitter. I would really appreciate that.
The ending's a bit of a total what the hell moment. Like, I have no idea what's happening at the end of this book.
From the tease of Superman and Lois being at the funeral to this being the young Superman that Morrison had kind of created, like he was based off of Golden Age Superman for sure, but it starts to remind me of Superman Beyond from Final Crisis, where all of these forgotten characters go to.
I mean, I'm assuming he's a Superman from a different Earth. He's not like our Earth Superman.
No, but I feel like he's still New 52 Superman, because our Superman and the whole Superman Reborn stuff.
Sure, that's what I mean. He's not the in continuity Superman, I guess. Is what I'm saying.
No.
But the fact that that's a change in and that's acknowledging that that's a different reality means that it's a different Earth or whatever, or Dark Multiverse. That's a multiverse that died, but that Superman was still there or whatever.
Yeah, I say this all the time. Like, what if these smaller books are sometimes the key to something that's going on? Like, the whole Dark Multiverse was created by Manhattan for these not bad ideas, but like darker ideas to live and thrive.
I think you're reaching with this because I don't think all this is going to tie into Doomsday Clock or anything like that.
But I always and I blame Titans Hunt and Lois and Clark for bringing back two of these concepts right before Rebirth. We had older Superman with John, and then you had Titans dealing with Wally and that Echo and whatever that means. So, yeah, I'm always reaching for that stuff. But, I've been wrong more than I've been right. So,
yeah. It's a wacky issue that has its ups and downs. Like, there was, for every page I liked, there was a page that I was just like, why is there all these characters? Like, I'm barely keeping track of who these characters are because they've introduced me to this whole big batch of them. So, I don't know. It's a little bit haphazard, but I do love the character a lot, and I love his supporting cast. So I'm hoping that it's not too long before he gets back to his hometown and everyone around him. Because I love that stuff. And so I think these last two issues have been my least favourite of the book, but I'm just looking forward to getting back to what I like. That's kind of where I'm at. And the art's fine. It's not who's on the book before? It's not Rockefort, yeah. Because he's doing various other things, but Raynor's not bad. It's pretty solid art.
He did Rockefort's out of the cover. Cover looks great.
Yeah, cover's good.
Yeah.
So, no, that is Sideways. Which does bring an end to the books, which means we're on to the part of the show where we pick our favourite stuff of the week. We have our best panel/moment, we have our best cover, best art, and top 5 books. So we'll start with panel/moment. Matt, what have you got?
So as much as I want to put the jeans Superman in there, I have to put up the one that kind of made me chuckle, which is from Batman, where he's like, I'm the world's greatest detective, I'll figure it out. And he leaves KG Beast.
Sure, yeah, when he's like, oh, you need me alive to figure out who hired me. And he's like, no, I'm the world's greatest detective, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn.
It's just so cold-blooded and like, man.
Yeah.
You just feel like Batman's just like, yeah, I did that.
He's so close to that line that he doesn't cross. But if I buy that this would put him as close to that line that he's ever been.
Yeah.
Not go over it, but be that close.
No, because technically he didn't kill him. Like you said, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. It's what nature does.
And also, I think Batman knows that he'll somehow get out of it. Because he knows that KG Beast is resourceful. It's kind of like someone who traps Batman and leaves him for dead. They kind of know that Batman's going to get out of it. Because he's Batman, right?
Yeah.
No, that's a good pick. Nothing's jumping out to me quite as obviously this week, but
it's not Dick being a dick to Alfred.
God damn, it's not. You're right, it's not. Jesus, come on now. Don't be silly.
It's like Dickception there.
Dickception.
I'm gonna miss these puns, man.
The narration box where he says his name is Rick Grayson made me. I mean, I knew it was coming because I knew that they were doing it, but it made me groan so hard.
I remember when the Ultimate Universe was this big new thing. I was in high school reading Wizard, and they had gotten these artists and writers to like pitch like, what would you do for DC, like Ultimate DC, and their Teen Titans version had Rich Grayson. But it wasn't Rick. It was Rich, and he's like, don't ever call me Dick. That's not a good name. And that always fascinated me because how different it was. I never, for 1 second, ever thought that would be the de facto. Don't call me Dick, call me Rick.
So, yeah, nothing's super obviously sticking out to me. So you know what? I'm gonna give it to Cyborg Superman murdering the child in Green Lantern. Because it's the moment that stuck out to me the most. It's been
you
ballsy.
were in full October mode.
I am. I so am. So that's what I'm picking. Best cover next, Matt. What you picking?
Oh, I have to look at these.
Yeah, I have to see what some of the variants are, I think. But
yeah. I think Middleton did a
Batman. No, that was Medina, I think.
No, Medina. I think the Aquaman was Middleton.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to be the Batman variant because I really like Medina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think that's my pick. But I do want to say that there was a few good covers this week. Aquaman's main cover was pretty good.
Is that Middleton? Looking. Yeah, variant cover, Josh Middleton.
The variant on Justice League Dark was pretty good as well, but no, I'm going to go with the Medina from Batman.
Let me see what that looks like.
It's that painted style I just can't resist on the cover.
Yeah.
I love how the actual bat that's above him looks as well. Proper detailed bat.
What was Lanterns? Lantern. I'll go with Green Lanterns. It's Jess. I want to give her some coverage.
Oh, the variant?
Yeah. That was Chris Stevens on the variant cover.
Cool. Alright, best art of the week then.
Oh, this is easy for me. I got mine.
Go on then, say it.
It's Manapul from Justice League. I can't.
Honestly, it's hard to debate it this week. There's nothing really. I think the one thing that comes close is Martinez on Dark. I think Daniel could be there, but it's a weaker issue for him, I think, than normal.
Yeah.
So I'm going. Yeah, I'll probably just agree. Go with Manapul. I liked it. So, top 5 books of the week then. What are you giving? What you got?
Oof. I can tell you what's not there for sure. So I think 1 is Justice League, 2 is Justice League Dark, 3 is Batman, 4 is Aquaman, and 5, I guess that only leaves Sideways.
Did you only read 6 books?
Yeah.
You couldn't have. I read 7.
No. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, what did I leave off? Oh, I know. I left off Green Lanterns and Nightwing. So there you go.
Okay, yeah, 7. That's fine. I was like, no, I read 7. We both read all the same books.
I'm trying not to remember Nightwing.
Yeah,
I'm doing my best.
All right, so it's probably pretty similar. Justice League number 1. I'll probably put Batman at number 2, then Justice League Dark at number 3, and then Aquaman at number 4, and we'll say. I'm kind of torn between Green Lanterns and Sideways, because I both liked and disliked different parts of them. I'll go with Green Lanterns. I think I like that a little bit more overall, but like I say, which means it was a weaker week, because it wasn't a great issue of Green Lanterns either, but it was a weaker week for Sideways for me.
Definitely.
All right, cool. Now I've got a cat in my lap here. I'll just peek him out of the camera. There he is. But. Yeah, so that actually wraps up the show pretty much, but I will tell you what's coming next week. Next week, we have Heroes in Crisis issue 2, so we have the big book of the month next week, which should be interesting. What's that?
I'm not seeing that.
Has it been pushed?
Maybe. It's not coming up on Diamond.
It may have been pushed to week 5 then, I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
Is that week 5?
H... Yeah, it skips over H completely. So.
Okay, I'm gonna. I'm just gonna confirm it's week 5. Then I want to know about this.
All right, you do that.
I feel like it's important now. Yeah, it's on week 5 now. All right, okay, week 5 just got a bit more interesting. But yeah, okay, so in that case, ignore the first one I said then. We do have Wonder Woman 57, next part of the Witching Hour. We have Detective Comics 991. We have Action Comics 1004. We have The Flash 57. We have Justice League Odyssey issue 2. We've got Batgirl 28. We have Terrifics number 9. And we have The Silencer number 10. Also out next week, but we won't be covering, is Batman Kings of Fear number 3, Batman Beyond 25, and Raven Daughter of Darkness number 9. Also worth mentioning, Old Lady Harley's out next week, and I don't know if anyone wants to try it, but...
And Books of Magic number 1, which I might try.
Oh, there you go.
So that's the not Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Did you say Justice League Odyssey too?
I did.
Did I miss you saying that? Okay.
So... Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for next week. I think week 3 is in a really weird place right now where, with Nightwing leaving, Green Lantern's ending, it's a very light week with not a lot. Whereas I feel like next week there's so many books that I typically love, like Flash and Batgirl, and Odyssey's kind of getting Action Comics as well, Terrifics.
Huh?
So, no. But next week we got more books, and then week 5 we've got a bunch of annuals and stuff. Plus, of course, me and Connor will be doing our punishment issues on week 5 because it has to happen.
I love how you call them punishment issues.
That's what they are.
I know.
So that is what's coming up next week. But that's us though. So as always, let us know what you think of the books and the comments and stuff. Like and subscribe, usual jazz. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You can get some bonuses at the $5 tier. You get a bonus episode once a month with me and Connor doing a trade or a graphic novel, which was a voting episode this month. And I can tell you the winner of that vote right now. Announce it exclusively here on the podcast. Which where else would I announce it? That'd be stupid to do it anywhere else. Saga the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, book 1, won the vote. So that's what we'll be doing for the October vote on the monthly sometime later this month. So look forward to that. Other than that, is there anything else to tell you? Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. You get us there for updates and things, and maybe some news items here or there and whatnot. You can get me on Twitter at Wibble89, where you can see me being very sad right now because I didn't like the new Halloween film and it depresses me so. Matt, where can they find you?
You can find me at ManOfSteel57. I don't know if I've tweeted in a while. I've been very busy. As you guys can tell, I still haven't done anything in here.
Yes.
So
the room's still very much
very
empty.
bare.
Yeah.
We're working our way up. So I actually did laundry. It had been a while yesterday. So that takes precedence. But,
yeah. And Connor is at Connor Ryan 94 if he's still alive to actually take any tweets. But he'll be back next week, and we'll have all three of us again for the first time in a few weeks. Again, the fact that vacations and moving houses all kind of stacked on top of one another is why we had such a weird few weeks there. But should be back to normal next week. So thank you once again for everyone for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching. Keep reading DC Comics. That said, though, if you like DC TV shows, me and Connor do television from the Multiverse, which also goes up. Go check it out. But that is us. So thank you once again. Keep reading DC Comics, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Gene Superman, at your service.